This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group and your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business and politics that impact you, the viewer. Today, our guest is Dr. Vibha Gupta. Now, let me tell you a little bit about her. She's with the Rural Women Technology Center in India. It's not a mouthful, but she's going to tell me all about you. Thank you very much for coming to our show, Dr. Gupta.
Thank you.
And tell me a little bit about yourself. What motivated you to work for a very noble cause, not only in India, all around the world, rural women?
Actually, it started with my thesis when I was doing my PhD from IIT, that I had to work for 5 years and really dig into this problem and see what is there for women, especially what technologies, what tools do they have, and to my surprise, there was none. Whether they're in the farm, factory, field, or home, they had absolute zero technologies with them, no tools. And all the hard work, all the back-breaking work, monotonous work were given to them. So that made me to think that we have to put a center which is basically brings technology to women.
So this is what's called RWTC.
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Rural Women Technology Center.
So what exactly does this center do, and how does it motivate the people and the woman?
It's a funny story because we felt that here we have a tool and here's the problem, we take the tool and they'll buy it and use it. But to our surprise, no, they didn't. They didn't have money to buy tools.
Right.
The men were not ready to give away their hard-earned money for women's cause. So we had to think that how can it be possible that women get the technologies and new techniques and tools to reduce drudgery, hard work, get more money. But if they don't have money to buy, we can't sell tools to them. So this led to us to see how do they get money. And then we started with the micro enterprises, brought them together, mobilized them to save money, not to buy tools, but at least to be empowered as far as monetary empowerment was concerned. And then this led to a total tangential working. Instead of tools, we started working on money.
Okay.
And then
so how do you raise the money?
The women raise their own money.
They're pretty smart.
They're pretty smart. With their small wages that they had, they started saving. So had micro savings,
Okay.
the micro credit, and they retrained them in skills because now there are no more manual workers, but they're skilled, trained people
Sure.
from technical institutes. So we trained 2,000 women outside there.
And they themselves go out and train the others.
Yeah.
It's like everyone is pulling their own weight of the train.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
So what impact does this things have on the rural woman so far? Can you
At
give
present.
us can you give us the audience some success stories? What impact does it have, and what have you been able to accomplish and by engaging this rural woman?
Yeah. At present, we got 12,000 women who are into microcredit, linked with 20 banks, having saving of 20 crore rupees, and putting up their own enterprises.
Wow, 20 crore rupees is pretty good.
That's pretty good, especially for these women who earn so little. And then these enterprises are run on local resources by the local women, so they can have their own market and little money in their pocket. So this is the scene now.
So they're seeing the light.
They
So
see the light.
hopefully the light of the learning will penetrate deep into the darkness and light up the whole world. Is that what your hope
Yeah,
is?
you're right, but you can't stop just at economy. That it's economic empowerment has to lead to another empowerment. That's
Sure.
called political empowerment. So when they came together, they formed into groups. They were mobilizing each other. They were finding causes on which they really needed policy decisions. So this led to a big change in them. A new leadership has come up. Around 34 women are now leader in the panchayat, the sarpanch, the village governance, and they are leading, and they are demanding for sanitation, to have nurses at the health centers, for water, and pension for old women, pregnancy preventions, and all these things are coming up because of these women leaders coming up. So this empowerment of women as leaders was political leaders was one thing, and then later on With that, we also had a lot to do with the health problems. There are huge health problems, anemia, malnutrition. So this led to another series of new projects. Now many of them have now kitchen gardens. 1,000 kitchen gardens are flourishing. They have the flaxseed oil, which was going away, has come back. And they are into organic producing of organic produce. So all these things come together.
So they have organic farms also?
Yeah. They don't have farms. They don't have ownership. The only ownership they have is the little land around their house. So they are growing organic.
Like a small patch of garden.
Yeah. And that kitchen garden gives them vegetables, the greens.
And they can nourish and nurture their children?
Themselves, the children, the family.
The whole thing.
Yeah. They have the power over the food that they're growing around their house.
So, Dr. Gupta, I mean, this is a noble cause, and we should admire and appreciate what you do for your community. So, what made you to do this kind of things? What motivated you? What was the guiding force that guided you towards this goal, and which is a very noble goal?
Yeah, it is. See, what happened that when we started working for women, another crisis that came in this particular situation was farmer suicide.
Okay.
Do you know that 200,000 farmers committed suicide in 2 decades in this area of ours? And that was too huge phenomena that we had to take care of this very critical crisis. So that led from us to get from this women's entrepreneurship into farmers' entrepreneurship, that we really decided that we have to introduce some technology, some statement which says that no more deaths, no more diseases, no more deaths. And this cycle of death and diseases had to be taken care of by introducing a totally new concept called natural farming. So we mobilized after taking these women into confidence. We got into getting water for them. We worked in many areas to get rainwater harvested, dug farm ponds and field drains, and got this natural farming coming. So this was totally a new area that we ventured into.
So you ventured into the new horizon.
Totally a new horizon of working.
Did you experiment the new environment as well? Obviously, you continue to experiment it, correct?
Right. And it did work. It worked very well because the farmers were already dying. They needed something to get out of that high input cost farming. So we had to go to no input cost farming, like zero budget farming. So with the natural resources, they could feed it back and get more produce and put less in the farms.
Wow.
So now, if you are going to, I know what the question you're going to ask me is what impact did it have?
Well, that will be my next question, obviously. What impact does it have?
Yeah.
And what are the success stories are there? And how does your concept that you have will also be able to populate in other parts of the India and for that matter around the world?
Your question is extremely right, because whatever we feel is at the macro level that it's a regional problem, it's a country's problem, basically it's not. It's basically a global problem.
It's a universal problem.
It's a universal problem.
You're absolutely right.
And all over the world, either the farmers are dying or ecology is dying. So you have to have a balance. And there we tried to introduce this natural farming technology. At present, we got 2,500 farmers who are working on this technique and trying to get out of this cycle of
vicious poverty.
Vicious poverty, right. And then it's not only that they're producing, they're also processing their own produce, linking them straight away to the consumer. And that way, they're earning much more than what they were earning before.
So how do they get to the consumer? How do they get to their produce to them in the marketplace?
Now we all are becoming a health conscious community.
And that's a good thing to do, so we can live longer, so we can enjoy our life.
Right. And the farmer has the onus of that. They have to produce organic food for us, natural food for us, and they have to be encouraged. There has to be policies, there have to be programs. We have to somehow cut this whole umbilical cord of multinational seed companies pouring in their seeds, taking away the liberty of the farmers, taking the freedom of the farmers from them. And this is only possible when you have indigenous seeds campaign, that they have seed banks of their own, and they go into total natural farming. So with this introduction of natural farming, we are trying to say it to the world that we have to say no to the GM seeds. We have to say no to the biological terminated seeds unless we really are sure of what's going to happen in time to come. So this linkage between the farmer and the consumer is also done through our organic cafeterias that we have.
Organic cafeteria?
Cafeterias.
That's a good terminology. What does that mean?
You have food centers, I
Oh,
believe.
okay. Organic cafeteria.
Cafeteria, and then we also have like open market for them, as you have farmers market when they keep it
So
straight
that's
to
where
the
they sell
consumer.
their products?
Right, to the consumer, straight away to the consumer. And one more thing that we decided was that everything that we consume, we are increasing the carbon footprints. That it's, you know, I don't have to explain that point. So we tried to see that we make smaller circles of decentralized units, that the raw material is produced and it's processed there and sold right there. You don't have to carry it to other places and, you know, spend fossil fuels and increase the carbon emission. That these kind of small circles could happen by bringing the farmers, the women, entrepreneurs, and the artisans together.
They're all together. They're
together.
bonded together by their shared faith in what they're doing.
And shared crisis.
Shared crisis and shared sacrifices.
Shared sacrifice.
Let me ask you a question. So I heard that the 45% of the produce in India do not get transported to the other part of the country because of the fact they don't have a means of transport these products. How do you go about doing such a thing? I mean, are you just pretty much a kind of a local?
Yeah.
You do not go beyond the local market?
Yes, we feel that we have to organize it in a way that the local market is strengthened so that you strengthen the local economy. But if you really want to send it outside, you need not send the raw produce. You can process it and send it. So you have this value addition comes back to the farmer. So you enrich the farmer better than selling raw produce.
So what support do you need in such an endeavor and work that you're doing? From the audience, from the people, from everyone?
Yes. So this will be my submission to everybody who's seeing this program, is that we need to collectively work on the policy issues, that we can't let this earth be destroyed by just greediness or just the desire to own this earth. So anybody who is interested in making policies to make a better world is welcome. Anybody who has tools and technology to help the women or the artisans or the people who are toiling in the field, they are welcome to help us. And all these movements and campaigns need money. So automatically
Needs money.
comes back to that we have to have money to run these things, because the forces against it are much more than the forces for it.
Well, thank you very much for coming to our show, and thank you for what you do for your community and for your nation. We all are grateful.
I'm thankful too. Thank you very much.
And we owe you a sense of gratitude. And it is a noble cause indeed. And thank you for watching. This is Frank Islam wishing you a great week.